Good evening, folks. Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It is time for the starting 11 prediction for tomorrow's game at home against Hibs. That is if the game goes ahead. Earlier on in the season, I done a starting 11 prediction for a game against St Mirren, and that was before we knew that Bolingoli had gone to Spain, and then it ended up getting postponed. Going into the game tomorrow, the team have just come back from Dubai, and they've confirmed today that one player has tested positive for COVID-19. So I don't know how that's going to unfold. I don't know if there might be any changes in terms of if the game's going to go ahead or not. I know there's been a lot of positive tests in other teams and other leagues and in Scotland as well, and games have still gone ahead. But Celtic have just come back from Dubai, so if the player picked up the virus in Dubai and then travelled back on the flight, I don't know how that works. I don't know what the rules are. But I do know this. I do know we've spent all week talking about the club's trip to Dubai, whether it was right, whether it was morally correct that they went. Regardless of anything that happened there, the pictures that came out on the Sunday night or whatever, anything like that, it's negligent. It was negligent to move a fixture and to go in the middle of a pandemic, regardless of the fact that they sought the correct guidance and they got it approved by the government. It was still irresponsible to go ahead with it after Christmas, given how the virus had spiked and all the rest of it. It's a shambles, and it's just the next thing in line in a long season of shambles. The mismanagement for the club. I've just said on Twitter now, they're like, I'm running out of energy to talk about the shambles that this season has become. I mean, it is just a joke. It's an absolute joke the way the club have managed this season, on the park, off the park, you name it. We've talked about all of the problems this season throughout the course of the content, and we talked about them again yesterday in the transfer show. And there's still some people who think that we're maybe being a wee bit unnecessarily negative and all the rest of it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I don't think you can deny the fact that Celtic have shot themselves in the foot this season time and time again. And this positive test after the needless trip to Dubai is just another example of that. Thinking ahead to tomorrow, obviously the big problem for the team in terms of putting an 11 out is that centre half were depleted because Julien's out for 3 or 4 months and Beaton is suspended. So we've only really got Christopher Ajer, potentially Shane Duffy as well. I don't know what the score is with him. I know he came home early from Dubai for family reasons. I think John Kennedy said he's available. He's certainly not going back to Brighton. So maybe he's available for tomorrow, but again, I'm not sure. Hibs come into this one sitting fourth on 36 points. They are going through a really bad run at the minute. Hibs, though, are off the back of 3 defeats on the spin. They had a really heavy defeat at home to Livingston as well in that run. So they're not going to be full of confidence. They are going through a bad spell. And we've just got to, in terms of the league season, we've got to win every single game that's left. Whether we're going to do that or not is another matter. Right now we find ourselves 22 points behind with 4 games in hand. But as I say, the season for me has just been an unmitigated disaster from start to finish. Okay, I know it's not finished yet, but from start to now, it's been an unmitigated disaster. In terms of the team for tomorrow, again, I'm going to redo a team here, and one of these players could be the player who has COVID, and therefore he won't be playing. But as of yet, making this video, I don't know who it is. I've certainly not seen any confirmation of who the player is. So by all means, I could run through this team, and somebody that I put in this 11 could be the player that's got COVID, and they're obviously not going to play. And that is if the game goes ahead as it is. So in goals, I do expect it to be Barkas. Again, a lot of needless, I think, criticism, talking about his position in the goal and could he have saved it and could he have done this and that. I think in terms of being at fault for the defeat to Rangers, I think Barkas is some way down the list, but I expect him to start tomorrow. I think it will be a back 4. I think Frimpong will play at right back. Christopher Ajer will obviously play at centre half. I think it might be El Ahmed that plays alongside him if Duffy is unavailable. Even if Duffy's available, listen, I wouldn't play him. He came off the bench at Ibrox and he was a shambles again. It's just not working. It's not working. That Shane Duffy playing for Celtic isn't working. He's making unbelievable errors. So I certainly wouldn't play him even if he is fit and available. I think it'll be El Ahmed. It's either got to be him or Welsh, but I'm going to go with El Ahmed alongside Ayer at centre half. Again, shoehorning a player who isn't a centre half into that position because we're depleted in that area. Left back, I think it will be Diego Laxalt. We talked about him yesterday in the transfer show. His priority is apparently a permanent move to Celtic. I think for the money AC Milan are looking for him, he's certainly not done enough to justify that for us to bring him in permanently. And the thing with this whole transfer window is, where are we going to be in the summer? Where are the club going to be in the summer? Who's going to be the manager? How are we going to go forward? Because we hear all the time that Celtic is sometimes a tough sell for players to try and get them to come to Scotland, to play in this league, to play in this climate, you name it. You've heard all the excuses before about how difficult it can be to get good players to come to Celtic. How difficult is it going to be this month if you're telling them we've not got any European football, we're out of the Betfred Cup, we're miles behind in the league, and listen, the manager, not even sure if he's going to be here in the summer. That's a difficult sell. That is a really difficult sell. So think ahead to the summer in terms of Laxalt, permanently or not. Could he perform better under different management? Probably, but I certainly don't think we're going to lay out £7 million plus for him. Midfield, I do expect the diamond to continue. That Sorrow at the base of it. I think it will still be McGregor and Christie, and at the top it will be Turnbull. Turnbull did really tire at Ibrox and he came off. I think he's not played a great deal of football this season, but he has been in the team for a good few weeks now. Maybe that was why. Maybe he's played too many games in a short space of time. But he did look really tired at the 60-minute mark at Ibrox, so it wasn't really a surprise that he came off. You can debate all day about who came on, right enough, but wasn't a surprise that he came off. Again, points to the fitness levels, points to the sort of standards that we've seen for the team this season, maybe. But listen, that's a conversation for another day. We'll be here all night if we want to start talking about the culture and the standards and where they've failed to this season. And up top, if both of them are fit and available, I would fully expect Lee Griffiths to partner Odsonne Edouard. I think Lee Griffiths, for all he produced that wonderful save for Alan McGregor, I don't think he was brilliant against Rangers. I think his decision making could have been a lot better. A couple of those shots that he had, he could have slid in Edouard, who'd probably been one-on-one. But again, I think we're a potent threat with those two when they combine, and against Hibs at home, they should be able to link up like we've seen in the game against Hamilton and really pose an attacking threat for us, because we know that when those two are playing together, they can be our best partnership up there, and they've got goals. They've definitely got goals in them. So that's the team that I think we might play tomorrow if the game goes ahead, and if none of those players I've just talked about are the man that's got COVID-19. So that's the team I think we'll go with. Like the video, comment with your own thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We'll be back tomorrow with live full-time reaction after the game to react to the next chapter in this circus of a season for Celtic. Thank you.